Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I am your host Ahmed Nawaz. We've got a latest roundup of sports tonight that we're going to be discussing. Let's take a look at what the lineup is. We'll of course be starting off with the Pakistan Super League, and what a cracker of a game we had last night. It was absolutely a crunch encounter that we witnessed between Lahore Qalandars and Peshawar Zalmi. Of course, Lahore batting first gave a target of 200 runs for Peshawar Zalmi to chase it down, but Lahore's bowling was just too good. And talk about their bowling, starts with Shaheen Shah Afridi, it goes to Haris Rauf, and now the new sensation Zaman Khan, a find of the KPL, comes on for Lahore Qalandars and is crowned the player of the match for his stellar performance of picking wickets at crucial intervals as well. So Lahore, of course, clinching this match. They're victorious against Peshawar Zalmi. This is a second consecutive defeat for Zalmi. Lahore Qalandars winning by 29 runs. Fakhr Zaman was the star once again in the batting, but it was an all-round performance. We saw Abdullah Shafiq amongst the runs. We saw Mohammad Hafiz. We saw Rashid Khan. And, it was good to see that majority of the players from Lahore are getting runs. So it's been a good enough encounter for Lahore. They've now won another game, so they're looking very good in the tournament considering their combinations. And all in all, Lahore is looking like one single unit when they're playing. It's not about individual performances. I think this is what makes sides even dangerous. For Zalmi, it's back to the drawing board. They really have to rethink their strategy. Otherwise, it's going to be trouble for them because since Wahab Riaz has come back, this is the second match that they've lost. So they need to come up with the right combinations. After that, we will be discussing more things, and we'll discuss tonight's match because tonight's match is another big encounter. Quetta Gladiators is facing Islamabad United. Quetta have got a lot of players making a comeback. We've heard that Jason Roy is going to be joining the team. Shahid Afridi might be in the playing 11. Umar Akmal might be in the playing 11. So good things for Quetta, but I think more than the players, they need their captain to calm down and be less frustrated, because that frustration is now going on and is being displayed on his own performance as a batter and also in the field as well. So his body language is something that needs to be adjusted because Quetta really need their leader to step up. On the other side, Islamabad United looking phenomenal. Of course, lost the last match against Multan Sultans, but the way Shadab Khan led both as a batter and as a captain, I think it is phenomenal. Getting a personal milestone as well of 91 runs, but the chase put a lot of heart in Islamabad United, and I think that confidence will be very, very dangerous tonight. You can catch all the action live on PTV Sports HD from 7:30 p.m. in high definition, and we'll continue to update you as things keep on progressing. After that, we will be discussing in the second segment, we'll be talking about the Beijing Winter Olympics with the opening ceremony and the torch relay that has begun. Prime Minister Imran Khan is also in China. He will be attending these opening ceremonies as a guest of honor. He will be in attendance, and it's a proud moment for Pakistan and for all the Pakistani people as well. And of course, people in China are also over the moon, considering that the Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan, is also there to support China and to also, I think, bring a glamour to this game, knowing that he has been the most successful sportsman in history. So I think it's a huge omen for the games themselves and for Pakistan as well. And alongside, other world leaders are also joining from Central Asian states, and even Russian President Vladimir Putin will also be part of the games. -2 till -7 the temperature in Beijing. If you talk about a village where we do have a majority of the snowboarding competition, -17 the temperature, but I think the sentiments of people have turned Beijing and other platforms very warm because it's excitement that is prevailing in the air. So we'll be discussing about the Beijing Olympics as well. Time now to start our show off with cricket, the Pakistan Super League 7th edition. Let me introduce my guests first of all. In studios, I've been joined by cricket commentator, our cricket expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Good to have you on the show. And before we proceed with our discussion, we've got a package on what happened in the last match. Let's go take a look and then come back.
Fakhr Zaman and bowlers joined hands to lead Lahore Qalandars to victory against Peshawar Zalmi by 29 runs to push their team to the second spot in the ongoing Pakistan Super League's point table. The Qalandars had set a 200-run target for Peshawar after Wahab Riaz opted to bowl first against Lahore. Lahore openers Fakhr Zaman and Abdullah Shafiq set the tone for Qalandars batting as Fakhr made his third successive 50-plus scores. Usman Qadir dismissed Shafiq for 41 runs to break the opening stand. By the time the left-hander Fakhr was dismissed, he had given the platform to his team to set up a huge target for Peshawar by scoring 66 runs. In the next few overs, Kamran Ghulam, Mohammad Hafiz and Rashid Khan's cameo propelled Lahore to end their innings at 199 for 4. Later, Lahore skipper Shaheen Shah Afridi set the tone for his team by dismissing Zalmi opener Hazratullah Zazai for 0 in the third ball of the innings. The loss of the early wicket put Zalmi on the back foot, and regular wickets by Lahore never allowed Peshawar to take control of the game. And despite Kamran Akmal and Haider Ali making 41 and 49 runs respectively, Zalmi ended their 20 overs with 170 for 9, helping Lahore register a 29-run victory.
It is, and there's another one, there's 9.
Well, congratulations to all the fans of Lahore Qalandars and their players, and I think the management, Sameen Rana, Aqib Javed, deserve a lot of credit. The way they've established a culture of unity in the team, I think it is absolutely phenomenal. K. Asif Ahmed, a big victory for Lahore, and sets the tone that they are truly learning from the mistakes of the past 6 seasons.
Yes, that's right, and absolutely, actually, it was a one-sided game, and as we were discussing last night, that Lahore Qalandars is playing like a unit, and this is really important. Every player, he is understanding that what role he got, and that's why they are performing well, because every player is focused towards his performances. And if you talk about from the top, Fakhr Zaman, Abdullah Shafiq, Kamran Ghulam, Mohammad Hafiz, even Rashid Khan, so all of them are playing really good. And when you talk about their bowling, to be very honest, I'm so happy to see this young lad, Zaman Khan. And he is genuinely a prospect for Pakistan. And why I'm so happy, because we were missing a fast bowler who could bowl good yorkers in the death overs. Because Haris Rauf is a bit quick, he's a speedy bowler, but he cannot bowl good yorkers. I don't know either Aqib Javed is working with him or not, because Aqib Javed, he concentrates on the pace. And so that's why for me, I'm so happy. And last night when I was watching him, to be very honest, that his Yorker slingy action looks like Lasif Malinga. And let's suppose, and let's imagine that if he could bowl slow deliveries with this action, could be unplayable, to be very honest.
We're talking about many things and, role defining as well, and how players are understanding their roles in the team. How impressive has Shaheen Shah Afridi been as a captain this season?
Really, really nice. I'm so happy. But the one thing, first I'll discuss his positives. He looks like a teammate. He looks like he always really talkative with their senior players. Even you could see him that talking with David Visa, asking what's going on, standing with Mohammad Hafiz, and of course that it's really important that you have a couple of seniors guys and you're talking to him. And one thing he should improve that in T20 cricket we don't see that any captain standing outside the circle. And I've observed with Babar Azam is doing this, and Shaheen Shah Afridi.
Kohli does it as well.
Sorry?
Kohli has been doing it as well.
Yes,
because
but
you need your best fielder on the boundary.
no, it does not matter. Look. Kohli could make mistakes, and that's why their guys are losing, Why you are getting why you're getting defensive?
So, your thought is that a captain should always be in the circle?
In the circle.
Talking to his players. Yeah.
Talking to his player. Look, if you're standing at the boundary position, how could you talk to your bowler if he's doing something wrong? You would run away and run away right from the boundary and coming and asking to them, do this, going back there. You're losing your stamina. So it's all about that you're standing right with the bowler, let's suppose mid wicket area or on the offside area. So I think this is what Babar Azam is missing and Shaheen Shah Afridi.
Well, certainly one thing that they need to improve. Like
yes, otherwise he's really impressive and it's his first experience, so that's why we're giving him some time.
Yeah, we should. I think he will develop into a great captain. No doubt about that. Well, one thing about Peshawar Zalmi, and I always say this can be my personal opinion. You might not agree with me. People might not like it, but as a cricket expert, as a host, this is my personal opinion because the amount of cricket I played, I feel like that. Wahab Riaz and his body language does not look very positive. I'll be very honest, very straightforward about this. Since he came onto the scene in the second match, I talked about the fact that maybe he should have rested for another couple of games. He was coming back from COVID. Maybe Shoaib Malik could have led the side a couple of more games, might be effective. But then, of course, he was back. In the first over, got hit for 4 fours in that match. Regardless of that, comes into this match, even outside, the field, if you put the camera on the dugout, his body language is very calm, very collected. I understand it's good to be captain cool, but that cool that you don't see yourself in the game in any form as a captain. Is it just me, or do you also see that?
Yeah, look, you always recognize by your decisions which you are taking, and of course that a captain should be aggressive in his decisions, not in his language. As we have observed with Rizwan, that he's really calm, always smiling, but see the way he's bravely taking decisions and taking work from his teammates. No one knows that who was Khushdil Shah in the bowling. Everyone knows him as a power hitter. But this is what captain does. And of course that if Wahab Riaz is not feeling well, so it's better that you sit aside and gives chance to Shoaib Malik. He's also very, a very promising guy. Of course, he has plenty of experience as captaincy.
But as a captain for Wahab Riaz.
Yes, this is. As a captain, I'm telling you that look, if you are sitting aside and not talking to your teammates, and you're not really, your communication is not strong with the teammates, of course that it would be laken, of course.
But Asif, for example, if you're the owner of Peshawar Zalmi, the team management and everybody involved with the decision making, be it Mr. Akram or anyone, you've got probably one of the most seasoned T20 players in the world, a man who has won countless leagues, has the most number of experience behind him as a T20 player, Shoaib Malik in the side. Would you still want to go with Wahab Riaz because he's been with the side for a couple of seasons? Or automatically you would say, okay, now this man, I see the capability, he can win me the league?
Something is wrong in their policies, as we have seen in season 5-4, that what happened that Darren Sammy was the captain, and in the middle of the league you said that thank you very much.
You're a coach now.
Yeah, you're the head coach now. I mean, this is not good. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm not the person to telling them this is the right, this is wrong. Of course, they would take their decisions by own selves. But the issue is that if Darren Sammy is not good as for the captain, so why you're not telling him before the league? Why you're telling him in the middle of the season? It means that you are putting him with the corner, with the wall. And of course, a player like Darren Sammy and player like Shoaib Malik, they got their reputation, and Darren Sammy got 2 World Cups and then he got the really good reputation, and he always loves Pakistan, he supports Pakistan cricket. So when you do this Darren Sammy, so what next?
Well, on the other side, let's move on to the other side, and before we move on to tonight's game, are you liking the snake? Rashid Khan, the way he's bowling, fielding, but that shot, we're talking about his batting as well, phenomenal stuff.
And Erin Holland, she asked to Rashid Khan what was happening, and he said that actually we say in Pashto, mar is the word for the snake. So we just enjoy this, and now Fakhar Zaman, everyone is following it. Yeah, this is what look, this is cricket.
The trademark for Lahore Qalandars.
But this is really dangerous.
Asif, do you see Lahore Qalandars being one of the top sides of the PSL now?
Now, the way they played last night, it's good. And I want to see them in the finals. I want to see them to winning the league, although you know that Multan Sultan is playing really nicely. But of course that we got some, great feeling for Lahore Qalandars due to their efforts for the cricket.
Would you also like to tell the people that I am a man of my word? I lost to you and I fulfilled my promise.
Yes, we had enjoyed a tremendous pizza. And I was talking about David Visa. No, we enjoyed a lot, and yes, he has fulfilled his commitments, and we enjoyed
But for
the
people
pizza.
who want to know, if you talk about tonight, it's Islamabad United against Quetta Gladiators. But unfortunately, there will be no competition because me and you are both for Islamabad United tonight.
Yes, but I'm telling him if we could go with the Quetta Gladiators, that would be fine.
You're going for Shahid Afridi. Why do you want me to go for Quetta Gladiators?
No, but I'm not going with Shahid
I've
Afridi.
heard that you're a huge fan. I've heard from various sources.
Honestly, if you are supporting Quetta Gladiators, I'm supporting Islamabad.
But I'm supporting Islamabad, so you can support Quetta. Okay, so I picked Islamabad United. But realistically, on a very serious note, how do you see the game tonight?
It would be a really easy game for Islamabad United. If they're playing with and they're coming up with their strengths, I think there is no chance for the Quetta Gladiators.
Quetta getting all the players won't make a difference if their captaincy issues
I
don't
don't think so, because you know that the Islamabad United got the plenty of experience, and they're playing fantastically throughout the league. They have very good cricketing minds. All of them players, they are playing good. Their captain is really good. The difference is captain. Sarfraz is getting marks in minus, and the Shadab is leading from the front.
Well, I asked someone this before as well, and I'll ask you on a final note that, every heartbroken kid seems to be part of Quetta Gladiators. Sarfaraz not happy with life. Omar Akmal not happy with life in Quetta Gladiators. Naseem Shah not happy with life. He said the camera only talks to me when I'm performing, doesn't talk to me when I'm not. Every heartbreak kid is in Quetta Gladiators. The same season all around.
Well, I think this is their hard luck actually, because all of them are really good guys. We supported a lot to Sarfaraz, we supported to Omar Akmal, Naseem Shah of course. But this is how your aptitude is, and that's why I keep talking about the great players, the greatest players, Brian Lara. Please follow them, the way they led, the way they played.
Don't go far. If you want to see patience, look at Fawad Alam, the way he has spent his career.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. And if you're not going far, just go to New Zealand and see what Kane Williamson is doing.
Yes.
Don't go far and see your neighbors what Virat Kohli is doing.
Definitely. Well, Asif, thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure.
Your call is Islamabad United tonight.
Yes, and your call is Quetta Gladiators.
No, Islamabad United. I'll make it very clear it's Islamabad United for me tonight. On that note, let's take a look at our segment recap for tonight. We of course discussed the fact about the Pakistan Super League 7th edition, a cracker of a game. Lahore Qalandars beating Peshawar Zalmi by 29 runs in a very important fixture. Lahore is on its way to victory. Fakhr Zaman has once again been superb with the bat. Zaman Khan's been superb with the ball as well. But if you talk about tonight, it's real action indeed. It's going to be Islamabad United facing Quetta Gladiators. Action live 7:30 p.m. on PTV Sports HD in high definition. You can catch the match there. On that note, we'll go towards a short break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now to discuss the Winter Olympics in Beijing, where the torch relay has begun. A lot to talk about. First of all, in studios, I've been joined by my co-host and our sports expert, Sabil Hazir. Assalamu alaikum, Sabil. How are you?
Assalamu Ahmed, I'm doing very well.
Good to have you on the show. And all the way from China, we've been joined by Miss Sara Afzal, who's joining us on this segment. Assalamu alaikum, Sara. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.
Great to have you on the show as well. Now, before we begin, we've got a report that highlights everything that is happening in Beijing. Talk about the contingents that are participating, the games in detail, and all the preparations as well. Let's take a look at this report and then come back.
The 2022 Winter Olympics officially began with the opening ceremony on Friday, the 4th of February in Beijing, China. The competition kicked off with early rounds of curling on Wednesday. The Beijing Winter Games will feature a total of 109 medal events across 15 sports. That includes 7 new Olympic events that have been added to the program. The events will be contested across 3 Olympic competition zones that include Beijing, Yangqing, and Jiangjakou. Chinese President Xi Jinping has assured streamlined, safe, and splendid games and has reiterated that the country is taking all necessary measures to prevent a resurgence of the coronavirus pandemic. Xi Jinping will hold welcome banquets from February 4th to 6th for dignitaries attending the Games opener that include more than 30 heads of state, government, royal families, and international organizations. Prime Minister Imran Khan has left for China on a 4-day visit to attend opening ceremony of Winter Olympics and meet the Chinese leadership. From the international organizations, attendees include International Olympic Committee President, United Nations Secretary General, and the Director General of the World Health Organization. The Chinese capital will become the first city to host both winter and summer editions of the Olympics following its Olympic debut in 2008.
There you have it, all you need to know about the Winter Olympics in detail. As I said, we're in for a treat when we witness them as well. Well, Sabil, the games are progressing. Beijing will become the first country to host both Summer and Winter Olympics, which is a phenomenal achievement. But at the same time, preparations are in place, and what a great omen that our Prime Minister is also there.
Definitely, you mentioned Beijing. It was in the report as well. First city to host both the Summer and Winter Olympics. That's credit to China and their sporting infrastructure. The fact that they have the facilities to host a full-fledged Winter Olympics in their city, as well as having all the facilities for any other sport you could imagine, is credit to all of the sporting programs and the investment they've made in the infrastructure. So that's brilliant for them as a nation and a big success for the sports programs. Obviously, our Prime Minister going there is great for relations. We have very strong economic and political ties with China. Maybe some sporting ties we could strengthen as well, because that's an area where we could definitely use the help of the Chinese and their methods and how they've achieved such great success. So it's wonderful that he's gone. I hope he enjoys the games. being an athlete himself, I'm sure he'll appreciate it more than some of us would if we were watching.
Definitely, that is the case. Well, Sara Afzal, talking about the games in general, how would you like to describe the entire preparations and the entire process? Because we've seen new use of technology, we've seen new innovations, we've seen so much when we talk about this year's Winter Olympics. What would you like to highlight about the preparations that have been in place for this year's Winter Olympics?
Well, this is something very special, I must say, as I think we can call this the double special event. It's a special Olympic, both ways double. First of all, the month started with the Spring Festival, and the Spring Festival Gala actually give a boost and create a momentum for Winter Olympics as well. Plus, Beijing is going to be the first city in the world who will be hosting two events, Olympic events, first the Summer Olympics and now the Winter Olympics. So people here are very much enthusiastic, and the main thing is that Beijing promises to make these ice and snow sports to be like not a special game or not a game for some specific time. They targeted that they will make sure that common people also enjoy this game. So they really created a history that right now when I see in Beijing, there are like Beijing is the host city, and luckily where I am sitting right now, there are two main venues at the right and left of our accommodation where we are living. So we saw daily basis, we saw common people who are going to the skiing arena and who are enjoying the skateboarding. And as you know, this skateboarding and skiing is not a very common sport. But due to these Winter Olympics, like they targeted 3 million people, they engaged it in Winter Olympics. So I can say that Olympic spirit and Olympic colors are all over here in Beijing, not on the streets, on the roads, on the malls, but within the spirit of all the Beijingers here.
Definitely. Well, Sara, at a historic moment, we'd also like to ask you about the fact that Prime Minister Imran Khan is going to be in attendance on the opening ceremony of these Winter Olympics. Now, Pakistan and China have a historic friendship that is an example for the entire world. No such example exists of a bond of friendship and brotherhood between two countries and their communities. Now, we've got a large number of people from Pakistan, our Pakistani community in China as well. And at the same time, we know that the Chinese people and their government and leadership has a lot of respect and love for the people and the leadership of Pakistan. How historic is this visit of the Prime Minister to attend the opening ceremony of these games?
Obviously, it's a huge moment, especially when very, very few, just handful of countries are actually creating like a boycott thing here. At this time, the presence of Pakistani Prime Minister actually is a symbol that Pakistan is always standing with China. And during this visit, obviously, we definitely will see that he will meet the president and the prime minister and the other key leaders of the party, and along with them, many other world leaders who are present here. And definitely, it will further enhance the bilateral cooperation and collaboration between the two countries. Besides the signing the agreements, I think this visit will surely cement the bilateral ties more. And as it's his first foreign visit of this year, it's Prime Minister Imran Khan, the expression of Pakistan's support and solidarity with China over the Winter Games, as well as the sign of strength of Pak-China relation and traditional friendship of these two countries. I think this will mark, definitely this will create a big mark on a relationship.
It will definitely. Sabeel, you agree that the first visit of this year going to China, and at a moment where we've got different world leaders coming as well, a historic moment not just for the games themselves, but for Pakistan to emerge as a world leader as well in the region?
Yeah, if you want to be aligned with China, which is of something Pakistan, we have very strong ties with them. It's important for your geopolitical means to go there and attend such events. Right now, these Olympics have come under a lot of political scrutiny, and a lot of world leaders aren't attending. So as she mentioned, for us to show that we stand with China, whether you think it's a good or bad thing, it's not the point. It's whether it serves a purpose or not. And I'm sure this will serve a positive purpose. And when you want to emerge as somebody who's aligned with one of the strongest people in the region, one of the strongest players, if not the strongest player in the region, which is China, stuff like this is very important. And for me personally, if I'm just looking at it from a sports perspective, let's move away from the political, then, you know, this is a a nation who could very, very much help us in sports because we are lagging behind in a lot of ways, and they have developed infrastructure which has clearly yielded results. Now, other countries have different methods, but this one is quite close to us, and we can adapt their methods probably more easily than we could from some countries that have methods in the West, which we don't have that.
Which are far off.
And we don't have alliances with them, and we don't have the same maybe cultural sporting legacies that they do, as China developed a lot of sporting legacy from nothing. So that's something we can look towards. So very, very important. First visit, as was mentioned, if it's going to be any country for Pakistan, it should be China at a moment when perhaps they need international allies as well, and our support is more valuable now than ever before.
Definitely, but like we said, that the excitement is in the air. The torch relay has begun as well. What's happening when we talk about the torch relay, and it's all ceremonial stuff that is going to be there surrounding it as well? We've got a report. Let's go take a look.
The Beijing 2022 Winter Olympic Torch Relay kicked off in the Chinese capital on Wednesday. The relay got underway at the Olympic Forest Park with a launch ceremony at the south gate, with the torch set to make its way through the Beijing Winter Olympic Park before reaching the Shugang Park by 7 o'clock in the evening. More than 1,000 torchbearers will carry the flame through competition areas in downtown Beijing, its northwestern suburban district of Yanqing, and the neighboring city of Zhangjiakou before the opening ceremony on Friday evening. For the first time in Olympic history, 2 robots completed an underwater torch relay. At the Beijing Winter Olympic Park, torchbearer handed the flame to an amphibious robot shaped like a curling stone, which then moved to a hole in the frozen Yongting River, descended into the water, swam to another submersible robot, and passed the flame to it. The second robot then lifted the flame out of the water and passed it to next torchbearer. The relay route will include 1 independent region inside the closed-loop Olympic Village and 11 regions outside the Olympic Village, which will take place behind closed doors following strict COVID-19 countermeasures. The Beijing Winter Olympic Games will officially get underway with Friday's opening ceremony at the iconic National Stadium, also known as the Bird Nest, with the sporting competitions running through to the February 20th.
Beijing Winter Olympic Torch Relay will last until Friday in 3 competition zones across Beijing, Yanqing and Zhangjiakou. Shahid Afraz Khan, Beijing.
That was Shahid Afraz Khan telling us what's happening with the torch relay in Beijing, and I think a lot of excitement. Sara, if we talk about the use of technology, I think China is leading everyone. We know that it's a global leader, but the use of technology and all the technological gizmos that have been popping up in these Winter Olympics are also phenomenal, from the Olympic villages to the use of technology for the broadcast to that fantabulous train that we've heard about as well. And also, I mean, talking about robots underwater with the torch, it is absolutely amazing to see the use of technology.
Yes, and you know what? They are using technology for the betterment of humanity and for more safe Olympics. That they don't want more, actually they want less human contact. That's why in the Olympic villages, we see robots are deployed, plus there are self-driven cars over there, self-driven cars who can, what should I say? Although they are like packages, they can provide you all the packages. And along with that, the latest technology, what they are using for the broadcasting and the media center, it's humongous. And no doubt about it that China is definitely leading, and China is definitely showing that technology, you can use it for the betterment, and you can through technology can control this virus as well. Because right now in this pandemic situation, that biosafe bubble, this is something very unique, and this is something very not only unique but very practical as well. Because many people thought that maybe in the biosecure bubble, the athletes or the officials will be restricted, but no, in the Olympic Village, they are facilitated with each and everything, like from a laundry shop till mega malls and hospitals, and everything is over there. And with this technology, just with a click on their mobile, they can access to any place, any area, or they can order for anything for their convenience. So yes, China is definitely creating a mark here.
Well, Sabeel, phenomenal stuff. I mean, the only thing that was missing was probably robots competing, but thankfully we still have humans.
Not too far from that. We're not too far from that, I think, but it's incredible. I've said again, the infrastructure is brilliant. They're very, very efficient at not just developing new technologies, implementing them. I think a lot of countries get prototypes out quite quick, but to implement them in a practical manner is very difficult. Like, for example, you've had self-driving cars, prototypes roaming around in many countries, including China, for a long time. The fact that they've been able to find some practical application to these kinds of techs is very impressive. And if it's keeping people safer, look, I've said it before, there's so many ways to do a good bubble, right? Olympic villages are often very well stocked. The fact that China's done one with the bubble that's as well stocked and as any, if not more so than any other Winter Olympic village in the past.
And we've talked about the difficulties of people in a bubble. This might just make it easy for them.
Exactly. So it should be no surprise that China's been able to do this with the way they are able to integrate modern technologies with no, I wouldn't say problem, would say logistical issues, because obviously they had to accommodate these kinds of people, these number of people in a certain space, and they've done a fantastic job, and they haven't denied them any amenities that they would need, especially the athletes. Obviously they need full access to a lot of things to perform at their best. The fact that nothing's really been sacrificed because they've used this tech to create a good bubble. How we can implement that, or other countries can implement that in their day-to-day life, that's to be seen. But this is a good kind of pilot episode, if you will, of how to run maybe a sporting bubble with these new technologies. So very impressive. China's infrastructure is something nobody in the world can deny.
Definitely, and it's there for the world to see as well on a huge scale of the Winter Olympics. But Sara, another historic moment is that this year in the Winter Olympics, the participation of female athletes is more than 44.6%, which is the highest in any Olympics if you look at them historically. How big is this achievement?
Obviously, this is a big achievement. Not only this, but this time the medals. The medals are more than the routine we observe always. I think the highest count of events was 102, but this time it will be 109 events, and obviously China is introducing 7 more categories in this Winter Olympics. It's somehow something new for the people to witness in Winter Olympics. And the thing you are talking about the participation of women. So China is, if you are living in China, you can observe this, that women are equivalent to men in every field, and in sports even, in any hard task, they are there. So it is very welcoming that women are more in these Winter Olympics. They are experiencing more, and a few athletes who actually talked about the Olympic Village and all, they said that we always heard that China is a very friendly country and it's very safe for women. But right now when we are here, we really do feel that next time we'll miss China Olympic villages here, because we really do feel secure and safe here.
Well, because you're talking about that, Sara, I'll take your final thoughts on the facilities that have been provided to the journalists, as you're telling us quite a lot as well, but certain facilities that have been provided to journalists to carry on their work and obviously do their reporting of the event as well.
Yes, their media center is state of the art, and as you know, due to the pandemic, they are not allowing just anyone to come and report it. They are selective journalists over there, and definitely they are providing them all the state of art facilities over there. And our colleagues who are working there from our department, from our organization, they are very much satisfied, as you know, a 5G technology is there and all the other softwares are right in their hands. So according to them, like it's going to be a wonderful thing to witness and to be a part, because everything is in our hands, everything is in our palms actually. And I also am very much optimistic about the Olympic theme, Together for the Shared Future. This is the theme of the Olympics, and not for the games, but in every field. China is actually targeting for this, aiming for this, that together we all go for a better future, for a shared future, and obviously through media, they can achieve it.
Definitely they can. Sara Afzal, thank you so much for talking to us on
Thank
Sports
you.
Extra. It's been a pleasure having you. Right, that was Sara Afzal, sports journalist, talking to us there from China, telling us all about that as well. But Sabir, like I said, the first historic point that comes on is the historic number of women participation, which is the highest ever in Olympics.
So it's bound to happen, and it's good that it's happening quicker than perhaps people anticipated. The development of women's sports. The Winter Olympics generally needs to develop a lot in a lot of different aspects. It's a good step that, as was mentioned, they have now 7, I think, more events in total.
Yeah.
So that's another plus point. It gives people more opportunities to compete. The technologies, when we talked about that, will also be important in a lot of tropical countries, for example, or not even tropical countries which don't have the climate for Winter Olympics. So, for example, there's a Mexican figure skater going, and he was training in an ice rink, you know, like an undersized ice rink. So these technologies will give them access. And as for women, I think Madagascar has a skier, an alpine skier. She's going for the second time now. So you're seeing a lot more women come up from countries where women don't perhaps get that opportunity to play sports. It's really nice.
More
to see.
inclusiveness.
Yes, 100% the inclusiveness. We need to create more opportunities for our girls to play sports so that when they grow up, they have the opportunity to compete at the highest level. Because if I'm being honest, a lot of countries do have professional sports for women, but they don't have the infrastructure to get as many young athletes into those higher level positions. Once you get to the top, yeah, it's well and good, you've competed here, there, but to get them there is a real challenge. Look, with some sports we've come a long way. I think in a lot of sports is a natural steady growth, but in terms of these kinds of sports which are taking place in the Winter Olympics, there needs to be a real conscious effort to get more girls involved, because right now in countries like Pakistan we have a long way to go, but we're getting there. You know, if we get one person to the Olympics every year, eventually hopefully that'll turn into 2 and then 3 and then 4, and that's how it'll grow. But we need to make that effort that, look, we have the ability and the people and the resources and even the environment in some parts of our country to do this, and there'll be girls as well as boys who can chase their dreams.
Definitely. Sabeel Aziz, thank you so much for being with us on Sports Extra. On that note, let's take a look at our segment recap. We of course discussed about the Winter Olympics that continue in Beijing, China, with a fantabulous opening ceremony that is there to be on display. Prime Minister Imran Khan is also attending this opening ceremony along with other world leaders as well. It's a huge moment for Pakistan and for the people and the leadership of Pakistan as well, because the bond of friendship and brotherhood between Pakistan and China is of course historical. The torch relay has begun. The opening ceremony will be there in place as well. All in all, we're all excited and we're there for a great ceremony and of course great games that will be taking place in a historic manner as well. On that note, that's all we have time for. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.